Another senior in the Montreal area has died after being found outside in the cold. That's how we woke up to that story on Friday morning. It was the third such case of last week. The Thérèse de Blainville Police Department said a 78-year-old man was found near the Place Rosemere Shopping Center just before 9:30 a.m. on Friday. Now, on Thursday, an 84-year-old woman died after being found unconscious on a road in Longueuil on Montreal's South Shore. And on Monday, an 88-year-old woman was found dead outside a senior's home in Laval, north of Montreal. So we have 3 deaths of seniors, all involving the cold, but other than that, different circumstances. So let's talk to Matt Del Vecchio. He's the owner of Premier Home Care and the host of CJAD's Life Unrehearsed. Matt, welcome back to the program.
Hi, Elias.
3 stories in the same week. What's your reaction when Friday rolls around and we have a third senior dead in the cold? What are you thinking?
Yeah, really unbelievable and very concerning. However, not surprising. I think we're going to hear more and more of this, Elias, just simply based on the fact that our population is aging, and there's more and more people with neurocognitive disorders like dementia or dementia-related diseases like Alzheimer's. I mean, almost 750,000 Canadians right now with Alzheimer's, expected to go to over 1 million in the next few years. So it's very concerning, and I think people, families, residences, everyone collaboratively are going to have to pick up their responsibility in protecting our seniors.
So, it's interesting because we've had these cases in the past, and I think if all of these cases had involved a senior's home, we may be having a different conversation this morning. That wasn't the case here. It seems like, well, it doesn't matter what type of living situation a senior is in, they're at this risk.
Yeah, in fact, the majority of these situations are individuals who are either living at home or an autonomous living apartment or condo or in the autonomous living section of a senior's residence. The real tragic situations are if you are on a memory care floor that's coded and you still get out. That is really tragic and should be prevented. But in reality, most cases are involved people at home, living at home and just wandering out. I think there are things that can be done, Elias, that can prevent these situations. I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, but one of the triggers, if you're living at home and you happen to be a flight risk or a wanderer, as they call it, even if your room is too hot or too cold, that's going to trigger something to try to get out of that situation. I'm not comfortable. My anxiety levels are higher. It could be as simple as that. It could be a set of keys on the stairs or boots or jackets that are visible when they really should be put away in the cupboard. These are trigger events that could be prevented to avoid these situations from people wandering. 2 little examples at home that could be done.
So does the technology exist right now to prevent many of these deaths? Like, does the technology exist where a senior could be wearing something and the moment it detects, whoa, this senior is out in -10 and the family gets an alert? Does that technology exist today?
Yeah, so the technology is really going to play an important factor today and in the future. So I'll give you a couple of examples. Very simple ones. GPS trackers are getting popular. People are putting air tags in purses, in shoes to track. However, there are things like chimes, what they call wander alert doors or motion alarm kits that could be used. Something called confounding locks. This is a lock that doesn't look like a lock that you put at the top or the bottom of the door. Very difficult for someone with Alzheimer's to figure it out. Very simple for a family member to open and close the door. So that's a very simple one. And now we get into higher tech like geofencing, for example, Elias, where, you set a perimeter. You've got medical alert systems that could set a perimeter of 30, 40 meters. Once you go beyond that, then it's triggering an alert on a loved one's phone. Or if that loved one does not respond to that call, they're calling 911 immediately. So technology is going to be very important. One real quick story, actually, in a residence, I was doing some tours with a family on a memory care floor. And we were touring around, and we get back in the elevator to go downstairs, and another lady said, "Hi, how are you?" And she came in the elevator. We thought it was another adult daughter or someone. and a buzzer went off. This lady was completely, in our minds, just completely normal, nothing wrong. In fact, it was a flight risk person. They addressed it. They had a bracelet on this lady that triggered an alarm as soon as she got into the elevator. So there's another good example of technology being used.
I have a listener, Matt, send me a text message. Rob says, "Les, I have a front door and back door camera at my mother's place. It sends me alert in my phone right away. Simple solution to keep an eye on your aging parent." Continuing here with Matt Del Vecchio. He's the owner of Premier Home Care, the host of CJAD's Life Unrehearsed, and we're discussing this spate of seniors' deaths we saw last week. 3 seniors dying last week, being discovered out in the cold. Matt, we heard from Quebec's Minister for Seniors, Sonia Bélanger, saying that despite these events, the government's not planning on adding new measures or doing adding any measures here. Has everything the government can do been done here? She might have a point that there's nothing more that can be done on the government's end?
Well, I don't agree with that. I think there's lots that can be done. However, it is not ultimately the government's responsibility in these situations. Family members really need to be aware of the situation and be proactive in protecting their loved ones. Senior residences as well have to start moving up. You might have heard on the newscast just before this, seniors residents are supposed to be having alarms on doors for people that are exiting. Only 50% of the residences have done that. So the government can play a role in making sure that that's done, but ultimately we can't rely on the government for these types of situations.
Matt, do we have to have a conversation on when to start to take this seriously, let's say with our elderly parents? Like when these stories happen, when someone is found dead in the cold, is that generally sometimes maybe the first time they go wandering, or there are warning signs previously? Like when should we be taking extra precautions here with our loved ones?
Yeah, I would say very rarely it's the first time only. Usually, this develops over time. There might have been an incident or two, and might have happened in the summer, and it's not such a big deal because it's summer. A lot of the situations in the wintertime, it's due to the elder person slipping or falling in the snow, and they can't get up, and they're overnight. And this is where the tragedy happens. It's not because they're lost and wandering and they can't get back. That could be the case, but a lot of the times it's because they're falling. So, yes, if you're seeing what we call trigger events, if we're seeing things of flight risk or wandering, then we have to start being proactive in how we approach that with our loved ones, our moms and dads and grandparents.
Matt, thanks for coming on this morning. Appreciate your time.
All right, Elias, thank you.
That's Matt Del Vecchio. He's the host of CJAD's Life Unrehearsed.
The newest tracks. Let's go. New music. And the next big thing.
Always on the new music first.
Your first place to hear it all.
'Cause you gon' like it, love it, wanna play it twice. Playing now.
iHeart New Music. Your digital station for brand new drops, fresh finds, and tomorrow's bangers.
I think we need something new.
Discover iHeart New Music. Always fresh, always first. Stream now on the free iHeartRadio app.